What are the pros and cons of tax lien investing? Well, welcome back. Now, in this episode, I'm going to answer the question, what are the pros and the cons of tax lien investing? Now, I've been around this business for a long time, over 30 years. How did I get involved in tax liens? Well, I tried all the other things in real estate, but I found this one was a very stable market, didn't have huge ups and downs, and it's recession proof. It always works. All you have to do is learn how to do it. So tax liens have been around for over 200 years. I did not invent them. The counties and the states invented them so they could collect property taxes. Now, in a few minutes, I'm going to tell you about some of the mistakes that people make at auctions. So stay to the end of the video and I'll show you that. But in this episode, I'm going to show you strategies that are going to allow you to make 16%, 18%, 24%, up to 36% interest. Now, think about that and think about what you would make if you put the same amount of money over in a bank account and maybe made 1%. So the bank's going to pay you 1%. And here you could go to your local county, not only help the local county, but you'd help someone in your county because they wouldn't lose their property. And I'm going to tell you more about that. But don't forget, I'm going to talk to you about those mistakes that people are making at auctions. I want you to avoid those, so stay with me. I'll tell you about those in just a minute. I'll be right back. Now, there's many things to talk about that are really positive with regard to tax certificates. First of all, they're predictable, they're certain, and they're secure. Predictable, certain, and secure. So that's very important. Now, if you're a senior or you got a little gray hair like I do, you don't want to lose any money. So what you're going to do with tax liens is you're going to invest directly with the county and you're going to get your money directly back from the county plus that high rate of return. So these are safe, secure investments made directly with the government. That means your money's going to be protected by the property tax code. Now, I'm just going to reach over here and I'm going to show you how big a business this is. I'm speaking to you today from Florida, and in Florida, they sell tax lien certificates, and the highest they'll pay is 18%. Now, a lot of people don't pay their property tax, and when they don't pay their property tax, I'm just picking up a newspaper, and this happens to be the Miami Herald that I'm showing you right now. Now, if I open up this newspaper, usually there's stories in the newspaper. This is just a list of tax lien certificates. Now, Miami-Dade is a county. There's millions of people that live there. And on this list, 65,000 people did not pay their property tax. Think about what I just said. 65,000 people didn't pay their tax. Now, some of them might have forgotten. Maybe when the first tax bill came out at Christmas time, they didn't have the money. I don't know what happens to people, but if they don't pay their property tax, the local county has a treasurer, and the treasurer is mandated by law to, number one, levy a tax, number two, to collect the tax, and number three, if the people don't pay the tax, they do one of two things. In the state of Florida, they issue a tax certificate. In other states, they actually confiscate the property. Now think about what a good deal that is for the people in Florida. They don't lose their property. So that person in your hometown, when you're buying that tax certificate, you're keeping them from being thrown out. Now, I don't know why they didn't pay it. Maybe they were sick. Maybe they had COVID. Okay? Maybe they had a car accident and the insurance didn't pay out. Maybe their wife had a baby. Maybe they had a hurricane. I don't know what happened, but they didn't pay their tax. So the county does not throw them out. They sell a tax lien certificate. You and I can buy those certificates, and when we do, we could earn, depending upon the state, here in Florida, you could earn up to 18%. If you bought one in Iowa, you could earn up to 24%. If you bought one in Illinois, 36%. You're getting the idea. All right, here's the beauty of buying a tax certificate. Number one, you're investing with the local county, so now you don't have to worry about your money. Number two, the property owner is not dislodged. They're not thrown out. They're not evicted. So that means if you buy a tax certificate, you do not get possession of the property. However, you do have possession of a certificate, and the certificate will say right on it that if you don't get paid, you will get that property, and you'll get that property without a mortgage. So there's a whole bunch of things that are really positive about a tax lien certificate. So the earnings, they're not generous, they're outrageous. 18% on your money with no risk is a pretty darn good investment. And the risk is you're going to get a property. Well, some people think that's a negative, all right? Well, you can buy tax lien certificates for $50, $100,000. I'm going to talk about both, But I want you to understand this is all about tax lien certificates. If you came here and you want to know about tax deeds, well, when I finish, just go below me and you can click a link and you can go and watch and learn about tax deeds. But right now, we're just going to talk about tax lien certificates. So people say, Ted, it can't be, it's too good to be true. Tell me the negative stuff. Well, they might not have enough tax liens. They might sell them all before you get there. So only half of the states sell tax lien certificates. For example, in the United States, there's 3,000 counties. Half of the counties actually confiscate the property. So if you're in New York or California, you don't pay the tax, they confiscate the property, they throw the people out. They don't care what happens, they throw them out. In Florida, in places that sell tax lien certificates, they don't do that. They just tell the property owner, stay right there, go get a new job, get healthy, whatever's wrong, and then pay your tax. 97% of the people will pay. Okay, so maybe all the certificates are already sold. All right, will there be enough certificates is always a concern. I can assure you, and I'm talking to you from the state of Florida, they will have 1 million certificates available in the month of May. 1 million certificates, and you could buy those. They will have certificates throughout the year at over-the-counter sales. We teach that on another video. All right, now auctions might be too competitive for you. Maybe that makes you nervous if you have to compete with somebody. Or maybe it's online. Some people say, oh, online, what does that mean? Well, that means you might have to learn some online process. Of course, we teach those things so you could learn. We have online classes. You can sit it right there in your Rusty Dusty and learn how to do it online. All right, now tax lien certificates, they're going to leave you with two things that could happen. One, you could get paid. The other, you could end up with the property. So some people say to me, Ted, I don't want to own any property. But let's think this thing out. If you got a property and paid 1 or 2% for it and it had no mortgage, would you want it? You say, no, I wouldn't want it. Well, then could you pick up the phone and call Zillow or a local broker and say, I want to sell the property and I've got no mortgage? Do you think they could do that? Well, you certainly could. If you only paid 1 or 2%, sell it for 49%, and you'll probably get it done that afternoon. So if you own a tax lien certificate, you could end up with a property. For some people, whoa, that's a big mortgage. So tax lien certificates require you do a little homework. Well, how about that? Doesn't every investment require that? So those are the negatives of buying. All right, now you might be saying, I don't want to go to auctions. It's too stressful. They want you to stay home and go to online auctions. And we can teach you how to do that, and you can sit there and use a computer. All right, but you will have to do some homework. Now, you guys are going to have a lot of questions about this, and I understand that. So when I finish, just put your questions below. We answer all the questions, and if you do ask a question, what we'll do is we'll send you out a nice little gift. All right, so what have I been doing today? I've been answering the question, what are the pros and the cons of tax lien certificates? So here's how the overall market works. There are lots of fundamentals here. You'll get them in just minutes. First of all, the United States has 50 states. The states are divided up into counties. Now, those counties, there's 3,000 of those counties. About half of those counties will sell tax lien certificates, which is what we're talking about today. The others will sell tax defaulted property. Why will they sell the property? Because they confiscate the property when the people don't pay their tax. All right, so it's about 50-50. Those aren't exact numbers. So tax liens mean the state is pretty darn understanding. I like to say the state is benevolent. They don't throw people out. So if you buy a tax lien certificate, number one, you help someone not lose their property. Number two, you put the money into the local state government. Number three, you benefit yourself. How do you do that? Because when those people finally come in and pay, and 97% of them will, when they come in to pay, they're going to give you back all your money. Let me say that again. They're going to give you back all your money plus whatever high rate you had in your certificate. So it's 18%, you get 18%. Now some states are all the way up to 36%. So this is a powerful, powerful way to make money. Now there's also penalty states. People don't understand that very much, but penalty states are like Texas and Georgia. And so you buy a redeemable deed there, and then if the people come in and pay, when they come in and pay, you make automatically in Georgia a 20% return in 1 day or 365 days. In Texas, you could make a 25% return. You're getting the idea. This is a hugely powerful investment. All right, are tax lien certificates and tax deeds big business? Well, I'm telling you, this is a big, big business. But I'll give you one example. So I had one female client. She started out in Texas and she purchased a redeemable deed. That means she got the deed to the property. The homeowner had 180 days to come in and redeem. In other words, buy the certificate, the deed back. If the homeowner doesn't come in, she's going to get the property. They got 180 days. And when they come in to pay, they have to pay a minimum of 25%. So the smallest amount of money she can make is 25%. Well, she did a lot better than that. She invested $42,000 and the people didn't come in and redeem. So she called Zillow, sold the property for $75,000 in 9 months' time. She made $70,000 profit. You could be doing the same thing with either tax liens, tax deeds, or redeemable deeds. This business has been around for 200 years. It's available in all 3,000 counties. All you have to do is get off your rusty dusty and get started. So I'll finish this video with 2 questions. Okay, so that was a pretty complex question. What 2 states to get started? Well, I'd start out in a benevolent state that was selling tax lien certificates. You could do that in Illinois. You could do it here in Florida. You could do it in any state that has reasonably good populations, because the bigger the population, the more certificates will be available. So that's easy to do. Competition, there's always going to be competition. It's never going to go away. So you might not get 36% in Illinois. You might only get 30%. In Florida, you might not get 18%, but just stop when you get to 15, whatever. So you're going to learn that at the auction. I can't teach you all that in this very short video. Folks, I have hundreds of students nationwide and outside the United States. I mean, I have people in the UK, I have people in all the provinces of Canada, or at least most of the provinces, and I have people in Australia and Singapore and so on. So anybody can do this, and this is ongoing all the time. I teach classes, and I have been teaching the classes since I started this, and I have classes every week. Someone will tell me that they bought a tax certificate or they bought a tax lien or whatever. The beauty of what's happening today is once you learn this, you can do this online. And I have students that drive me crazy because they call me up and they bought a tax lien online. So that means they took money out of their bank. The county takes the money out of your bank and pays for the certificate. But when the county gets paid, then they pay the payments right back into your bank. So I have clients that just drive me nuts or calling me and saying, "Oh, Ted, I just got another deposit today. Because the county is sending them money all year long, because people don't buy one certificate. They'll buy dozens of these because you can buy them for $2,000, $5,000, $25,000. There's any amount that you want. So buy a lot of little ones and get started. What's your risk if you got $2,000 in a tax certificate? You've all blown $2,000 somewhere. You won't blow it here because you're investing with the government. You're getting a check back from the government, and this is predictable, it's certain, and it's secure. Okay, folks, you get a chance to watch a ton of videos, okay? You can watch all the videos you want, but I have a team of people that do this. So I'm the leader of the company and the founder of the company, but I not only do this myself, but in my office, I have 4 facilitators. That means they give a class free to my clients every single day. On Wednesday, I have a coach that conducts a class, a formal class that you go online, you can see the coach and you can talk to the coach, and those are free classes that they do for 1 year for the clients. In addition to that, I have 4 professional coaches. When I say professional coaches, they're all 60 years old, they're all doing deals, and they have purchased as a group over 200 tax defaulted properties, not even counting all the tax liens and deeds. So this is all we do. We don't sell anything else. We don't teach anything else. We teach you how to make money with tax liens and tax deeds. I'm the owner and founder of the only electronic courses in the world. We can put you into an electronic course where you can be anywhere in the world and you can be going to school and learning how to do this at your convenience. 24/7, you can go to class with Ted Thomas, and it's the only one in the world. Let's talk about a couple of mistakes that I promised I'd tell you about. Mistake number 1, don't buy a property unless you've seen it. Now, I go to these auctions all the time. I see people raising their hand. They're bidding for property. They've never seen the property. You don't want to buy a property that you haven't had boots on the ground and you haven't seen it. Now, if you don't see it yourself, hire someone to go look at it. We'll show you how to do that. But my point is, don't buy a property you haven't seen it. Now, what if there was a hurricane yesterday? What if the property had a fire? What if it was next to a chicken farm? You're getting the idea, so you don't want to do that. Now, there's a second mistake I'm concerned about, and that is exit strategy. Now, a lot of people are really fired up when they get to this auction. They want to be successful. I completely understand that. But don't start bidding on property that you haven't looked at and you don't have an exit strategy. So if you don't know what you're going to sell it for, how do you know when to stop bidding? Now, some people say, well, Ted, I got to the auction, I just wanted to win. Well, you don't want to win. You want to be able to buy a property at a bargain price and be able to sell it at a profit. So you got to know what the margin is. So that's exit strategy. You need both of those. Now, look, I've got a couple of great gifts for you. It's all encompassed in one. Let me reach over here to my desk and I'll get it. Gift number one is all about tax lien certificates and tax liens and how to profit on those. Now, this is no small book. This is quite a manual that you'll learn that. In addition to that, I've also got a manual. And as a matter of fact, I picked up the wrong one, but that's okay. All right, this one is all about tax defaulted property and tax deeds. Teach you how to make money with tax deeds. And that's another powerful manual that you're going to get. Now, we're not going to stop there. I know you'd like to see some video, so why don't we put some online video? I'm going to show you this is a video package, but you're going to get the videos, but you're going to get them all online. So I'm Ted Thomas. Be sure and register below, and I'll send you all those gifts.